You know how long it's going to take? Union jobs building power plants, I'll bet you they never come online.
And a union job, is that not the craziest thing? Do you know what prevailing wages do to the cost of these programs? It's incredible how high union wages are in areas where they don't need it. I mean, it's amazing.
You know where unions are good? Where employees are being abused.
Yes, of
where
course.
everybody is just interchangeable. You're in a coal mine, yeah, you out, you in. I mean, that's where you need a union. But you don't need a union where people aren't interchangeable.
Well, where they exploit the people, like the teachers exploit the students, and where you have a lot of other systems where they exploit.
Where was it, in Rhode Island this week? I think it was in Rhode Island, someplace up north. They fired all of the teachers. They broke the union and said, you know what? You won't compromise. We don't have it. You're out. Yeah. I think that person's a hero.
I do, too.
I think it's fantastic.
I mean, but what you want to do is just make sure you get merit pay for teachers. And don't give them tenure.
See, this is why you make sense.
Thanks.
On meritocracy.
Thank you very much, Glenn.
We'll be back in just a second.
The real message behind the movement. Next.
There's a lot going on today that we need to get to. Barack Obama has decided now to connect with the anger in America. Now, that was hope. Actually, this was false hope when it said hope down here. I actually, I'm doing something called the American Revival, and I painted the logo for it, and this is just a sneak peek of it. I'll show it to you in just a minute. I'll show you what real hope looks like. But first, let me go back to the White House and the anger. They've announced a new 4-point communication strategy, because remember, he hadn't given enough speeches, and you just didn't get it because you're a dumb dummy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so here's their communication strategy. First thing they have to change this year is they have to change the speaking backdrops. Wow. Number 2, less media interaction. 3, return to disciplined messaging about hope. 4, a more direct, rapid response to critics. I don't know if they're going to hire Tanya Harding just to come in and club me in the knees now. I'm not sure. But I don't want to throw you off. Don't want to throw you off. Remember that last tip. They're just going to have more of a direct, rapid response to their critics and take them out. Okay. Quantum leap here, but follow me. All the way over from that story to this story in the New York Times today, where there is a completely unrelated 12-page printed story describing the Tea Party movement. It's great. It's lighting a fuse for rebellion on the right. Ooh, rebellion. It's painting the Tea Party movement as a bunch of racist, militia-loving, birther-supporting, Branch Davidians, sympathizing, Civil War-starting whack jobs. You know what I mean? They've left their lives on the compound, and now they've started organizing to make conspiracy theories go from totally geek to totally chic. Okay, 12 pages. We printed them out, 12. Littered with demeaning, marginalizing drivel, such as when the Tea Party uprising gathered force last spring. The uprising? One could not help but wonder why the explosion of conservative anger coincided with a series of violent acts by right-wing extremists. The article continued. We don't have any evidence that they're connected to violence, but still, there are troubling parallels, I see. Yes. Troubling parallels. Elementary, my dear Watson. Excellent detective work, New York Times. The very same old, frail, teabagging white people, that's the way they usually, right there. The media roundly mocked for being old, frail white people are now starting a Constitution cartel and blazing a trail of violence all across America. Oh, New York Times, thank you for connecting the dots on this one, because I would have never noticed it. I mean, after watching millions and millions of Tea Party people gather all across the country for the last year, there was nary an arrest nor a broken window. It all seemed quiet and peaceful, actually, to me. But apparently I was wrong. Thank you for uncovering the hidden violence of those far right-wing Unabomber wannabes who tricked us all into thinking that they're just harmless old people who are now back in their mountain shacks wiring up explosives and drinking cans of Ensure. The intellectual curiosity of the New York Times is boundless, except, of course, when they wander too far over to the left. Then they seem to get, I don't know, it's a little sleepy over here on the left. Maybe I missed it, but I haven't seen the New York Times connect the dots from the actual violence from the left, like the latest nut job. A professor from Alabama who killed 3 colleagues. Yes, there she is. The Boston Herald reports that a family source said Amy Bishop, a mother of 4 children, the youngest, a 3rd-grade boy, was a far-left political extremist who was obsessed with President Obama to the point of being off-putting. It's weird. When it's a nut on the left, isolated incident, we're still looking. We have no idea what caused it. Nut on the right? Oh, I have no evidence that they're connected at all, but the violence is troubling. The parallels here to the old white teabagging hate mongers, you know, with their walkers. This is going to be the mantra from the media going forward. Tea Party equals right-wing crazies, birthers, 9/11 truthers, right? No crazy knows party lines. You know, you've got what's his name? Philip Berg. He was the Democrat who filed the earliest known birther lawsuit before the Democratic convention. The Daily Beast blog traced the birther movement back to Hillary Clinton and her campaign. It's not from the right, it was from the left. By the way, 9/11 truther Van Jones is scheduled to speak with Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand next month. So here's how it works, okay? We have the crazy 9/11 truthers on the and the birthers. We have the birthers and the 9/11 truthers. And they're over here. Got it? Yeah. And then over here we have crazy birthers and 9/11 truthers. That's what we have. Okay? We have maybe 5% over here. Maybe. And 5% over here. That leaves you here in the middle. If you believe these things, I'm not saying you shouldn't speak out. You should. You should speak out. If you believe that our government killed 3,000 people intentionally, you should speak out. There couldn't be anything more important. But they don't usually speak out. For instance, Van Jones. No, he kept it quiet. You see, everybody keeps that quiet. That's why it's dangerous. That's why I asked candidate Deborah Medina in Texas, she's running for governor, this question on my radio program last week. Do you believe the government was any way involved with the bringing down of the World Trade Centers on 9/11?
I don't have all of the evidence there, Glenn, so I'm not in a place. I have not been out publicly questioning that. I think some very good questions have been raised in that regard. There's some very good arguments, and I think the American people have not seen all of the evidence there, so I've not taken a position on that.
Yeah, I don't think the American people have seen all the evidence there either, but I still don't think that George Bush and Dick Cheney were wiring the World Trade Center. Not really a difficult question. The answer is no. Now, there are some who are angry at me for even asking this question. They were upset because it hurt her in the polls. And they said, hey, it's just one issue. You got to look past that one issue. You know, it has nothing to do with state politics. You're right. It doesn't. But if I wanted to be the governor in New York and I said, hey, by the way, I don't even know if the earth is really round. It might be flat. There's some good questions out there from flat earthers. Would I be the governor of New York? I don't think so. Point is, we have a window of opportunity here. The New York Times did this story today because the Tea Party movement is powerful. It is making a difference. It is connected to the White House engaging with anger. Got it? They're connected. It's all about the people. But you know what? Here's the problem with the Tea Party movement. All movements. This could be Republican, Democrat, all of them. If you have the movement, generally here, centered on the Constitution, and common sense, you've got a few people over here and over here, left and right, that wouldn't mind hijacking this movement. Hijacking a movement for crazy people or people just in bed with the GOP or the DNC. The movement that America is looking for is about independence. Some people want to co-opt the 90% in the center. You got to not be co-opt. Others are trying to make those people in the middle, the 90%, just look like the fringes. Either way, it's not good. You must resist the urge to just get somebody elected that's not that guy. You must stand on principle. We move forward in America with honor. If we don't, we'll be repeating the same mistakes that led us to this point. And that would be crazy. Back in a minute.
How much power is too much power? Executive orders exposed. Next.